And good morning, everyone. This is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I want to welcome you to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity. I am so glad that you're here with us. I have a very special friend and co-host that's joining me today, Sheila Applegate. Hey, Sheila.
Good morning, Brian, and everybody listening.
Hey. Oh man. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. This is going to be a hot topic uh show today. But before we get started, I want to remind everybody that listen, we want your questions, we want your comments and thoughts. Just post them in the chat on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll try to answer them while we're here, or we'll show some of them during the broadcast. Also want to let you know that coming up tomorrow, we have a very special show with the founder of womenworking.com, author Helene Lerner. We've been doing a giveaway this week as well. So you want to go to our Instagram account to find out more information. That's Instagram.com/Soulivity magazine to find out more information about that. Also, coming up today at 12 noon is another great Consciously Awesome Living with Sheila. And Sheila, I think you're going to be talking about financial freedom and
Yeah,
how to make your money work more spiritually. So
yes.
that's going to be a great show as well. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Sheila, did you want to go ahead and start with the topic, or did you want me to start?
Um, you can start.
Okay. All right. Well, you're going to love this one, and everybody's going to love this topic.
Okay.
So, as you probably know, because you're a movie buff like I'm a movie buff, this week has been the Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
And one of the special ones for me was Angela Bassett, who, well-known actress, been in a whole lot of things, played a heck of a Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It. She made history, Oscar history, as the first actor ever to receive an Oscar nomination for a Marvel film. And that Marvel film was, of course, Black Panther Forever. And so as I was thinking about her life, and she's just like a force of nature in her career and the success she had. I was thinking about talking about an abundant mindset today.
Nice.
Right?
I like that
Right.
topic.
I know. I thought you would. And so, I wanted to talk about what is an abundance mindset? What are the benefits of it? And then we'll end with, what is give our audience some tips around, how to start living that. And so, first and foremost, the term abundance mindset was first coined by Stephen Covey in 1989 in his best-selling book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And according to him, those choosing an abundant mindset believe that there are unlimited resources available for every individual, and that long-term success warrants creation of a win-win situation for all. So I'll stop there, pause there, and Sheila, what I know you have an abundance mindset. I mean, we've talked about different things over our friendship together. What do you think about this concept?
Well, I like those 2 points that you brought up to begin with, because the first one, that there is an unlimited amount of
Right.
abundance or resources. That's so important on many levels, because we have a lack mentality in our society, and that's purposely done to keep us in our place from a
Right.
capitalistic society.
Right.
And one of my favorite little sayings on this is, switching the saying of money doesn't grow on trees, because it literally is trees. It's paper,
Right.
it's cotton,
Right.
And I
Paper
was
is
I'm like,
trees,
"Yes, it
people.
does. Yes, it does." And it's just it's a man-made concept, right? So,
Right.
when we attach to these beliefs or that it's hard or that we must compete with others, that other point that you made that, um the win-win situation, because another thing that we typically do in our society is kick down, which means that if we keep the people that have less than us in
Mhm.
their place, then we feel like we have more based on that. So we're always trying to go better than the lowest versus realizing that if we look up and we shift that flow, then there's a plenty for all of us. So any
Absolutely.
kind of business collaboration or that I do, it's always with the intention of win-win. Like that is success to me.
Exactly, right? You were talking about, what we would call, quote, unquote, "the opposite of this," which is what, Mr. Covey called a scarcity mindset,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's viewing life as a limited resource wherein one can only get only a share of the pie while the rest is reserved for others. Those with a scarcity mindset believe that there just isn't enough love, time, or money out there for everyone, that each thought and every action of theirs is an endeavor to grab the unlimited resources. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows where
Yeah.
I got this from as well. This came from happiness.com. This was a great
Nice.
site. I mean, I highly
Yeah.
recommend people go there and check it out. But isn't that so true? I mean, when we talk about um, abundance, a lot of times people immediately go to money, which is of
Hmm.
course one part
Right.
of it. But abundance is love, time, it's friendships, it's everything that you experience during this human journey.
Hmm.
And that if you feel that there isn't enough in one, typically you feel there's not enough in the others as well. And that becomes part of your psyche and how you relate to the world.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to just remember that there is that this universe and this world is full of abundance, and that it's limitless, you know even though people think about time and they say, well, there's only 24 hours in a day. Excuse me. But in truth, that's more than enough time to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish.
Right, and that's a whole nother topic, but time is
Exactly.
pretty fluid. First of all, it's man-made
Exactly.
also,
Right.
and secondly, you know, 1 minute can feel like 30 minutes, and 1 minute can feel like a
Right.
microsecond, depending on
Right.
where we're putting our attention. So
Right. I mean, how many times have we done a speech or been in front of people and it's 5 minutes long and it feels like an hour?
right, to the people
Yeah, to the
sitting in the
people who are
audience
giving the
with
speech,
us.
right? Or more, it might be to the
Right,
people
yeah.
who are listening, it might be an hour. um, well, let's talk a little bit about the benefits, and I'll mention a couple, and maybe you can mention a couple too. One benefit of having an abundance mindset is that you're more creative and inspired to create favorable outcomes for everyone.
Right,
That's one benefit. Another benefit is that you become unfazed even through adverse circumstances. That is so true. It's like, you become no drama Obama. Like that stuff is happening in the world, and that you can move through it a lot more, effectively with less stress, right?
right.
What's one benefit that you have, Sheila, around this?
More joy, really.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just, realizing that I think in our show yesterday, Shannon, our guest, mentioned she's in the phase of allowing.
Right.
And I think that is, when you are feeling abundance in all areas of your life or most areas or moving towards that even, then there's a sense of allowing. And in that sense of allowing is where the magic happens. So the
Mhm.
joy, the synchronicity, serendipity all fall in that window for me.
Wow. I like that. I like that. Um, let's see. There's a couple of more here. But get this frog in my throat this morning. Um, they said that you're more assured about your ability to create high value results of an amplified magnitude. Wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. And then another one is that you're more focused on creating meaningful, unhindered, and satisfying life experiences, which is another great one, right?
Mhm.
Wow, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Why don't we take a quick pause, and when we come back, we'll talk about, how we get from here to there, right? Like if you're in a situation where you feel as though um you're that you don't feel like there's enough in the world for you to explore or have in your life as a resource. How do you get from scarcity to abundance? So we're going
Mhm.
to talk a little bit about that when we come back. Okay, so
Right.
we'll be right back in about 60 seconds.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hello, this is Brian Wesley Johnson, and this is This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by my beautiful and talented co-host Sheila Applegate. Hey, Sheila.
Hello.
And we're talking about an abundance mindset. And what does that mean? How, what are the benefits of it and how do you get there? And so, I know Sheila, one of your many talents is that you coach people about a manifestation and how to create this best life, what I call a best life today.
Mhm.
Um, what's one way that you kind of like give your clients, like the breadcrumbs, right, to start moving
Right.
into you know, t- you know, even beginning this process of going from scarcity to abundance? Like what's one thing?
The very first step that I have people take is what I call upgrading your influential beliefs. And
Wow.
so it's an
Wow.
exercise, yeah. And basically, what it is you sit down. So if you're talking about the abundance mindset or finances, even if you're reducing it right to the concept of money, write down as many beliefs that come to mind, even if you don't think you still believe them.
Hmm.
Just start writing them down, whatever comes to your head, even if you're writing it and you're like, "Nah, that doesn't," and then just write it down anyway. Then go through each one of them, and that's as simple as that. Money doesn't grow on trees, things you've heard, right?
Right,
Go
right.
through each one of them and kind of explore where they came from. Did somebody tell you that? Is it a societal norm? Was there a moment in your life that you came to that conclusion? And then also list how that belief benefits you and how it limits you.
Mm.
And
Wow.
because even limiting beliefs give us some benefit. And so
Yes,
we have to
yes.
know what we're getting from it before we can upgrade it, right?
Right, right, right,
And it's
right.
not necessarily like throwing out beliefs, but what would be more supportive of me right now to believe? And what's the next step I could believe that's more in alignment where I want to be, not where I am. And then that becomes your influential belief that you're going to use until it no longer serves you, because it might not be a forever belief.
Wow, I love that. It's so funny too because some of the steps that was in happiness.com around this, they all had to do with that this is about your belief system, right? It's about creating what I think what my parents would call is a new normal,
Hmm.
where your old normal still exists, right? It's still over there, it's to the side. You could choose to do that, but you start practicing another normal and you start choosing that because you get more benefit from it, right? You have a
Right.
happier life, you're more joyful, happy, prosperous, and etc.
Yeah.
One of the first things that they said was believe in infinite possibilities, right?
Right.
And that those with an abundant mindset can perceive the highest potential in every situation, while scarcity mindset imposes a perceived limit on the resources available. There are always more options, great possibilities, and unlimited resources for the abundance minded. So, training your mind to see limitless opportunities in place of shortcomings can be a gradual process. You
Hmm.
can start by deliberately expanding your awareness while relaxing your focus and then asking yourself, how could I approach a situation from a different perspective? Especially, this is especially true in a scenario where you couldn't fail.
Hmm.
I love that. I love that. Another one was, again, and you were talking about this in your suggestion, which is understand the power of your thoughts, right? What you think, you become. The mind is everything, Buddha taught us, right? And
Hmm.
that the law of manifestation asserts that our inner world reflects our outer reality, and that our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions determine what we manifest in the physical world around us. So they said, take time to notice the kind of self-limiting or scarcity based thoughts you experience, and that those allow you to shift. Once you identify them, they allow you to shift gradually toward abundance. And again, I think this is such important to talk about, because this is part of like our meditation practice, our mindfulness,
Hmm.
right? As well as like journaling. I know you do this stuff every day, right?
I do. That is my life.
I know, right? But it makes a
Uh,
difference. I mean, when I
yeah.
don't do it, I do feel as though that old normal starts kicking in, right?
Right. We have to keep placing ourselves in that. The words I use are very similar because I think the process is the same, but
Mhm.
we come from it in a different way, because neck my 2 next things to look at would be imagination, because we
Mhm.
imagine everything and we don't give power to imagination the way we should, right? Whether
Right.
we're
Right.
imagining the worst outcome or the best outcome, we're aligning our emotions and our thoughts with that, and we're putting out an energy that's going to basically tell the universe to bring it on, right?
Right.
Or if we don't even set it outside of us, it's a frequency that another frequency will resonate with, because we're all energy, right? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
you go energies attract similar energies. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, um, um, w when I was thinking about this even a couple of days ago, I had a good friend of mine talk about that. Listen, if you meditate, um, you should meditate. You don't necessarily have to meditate the same way throughout the day. Like
mhm,
I try to meditate at least twice a day. And one of my meditation is just feeling the flow of the universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, and just spend time communing with that spirit. Like, and that kind of like energizes me for the day. But the
Mhm.
but the second meditation is one of something that you just said, which is of imagination, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm thinking about my life and how I want my life to feel, right, in my body, what does that really look like? And then what is that feeling? And
No,
so I
yeah.
spend time doing that and letting my imagination just like a kid, like you're at amusement park, just let it roam and experience all these wonderful things that you believe that you can have, right, as a
Mhm.
feeling experience. And
Right.
man, those two together, oh my gosh, woo,
Very powerful. And that
it's
feeling experience is such an important aspect of it. A lot of the talk, that has been over the last couple decades is about your thoughts create your
mhm,
reality,
mhm.
but your emotions are even more powerful. So when they're in alignment, that's when you're really energizing it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been new studies, everybody, about things like heart math, right?
Mhm.
Or no, I'm trying to remember the other one, where they're studying that the heart and your feeling center is actually controlling your brain, right? Not
Mhm.
the other way around, and that there's this
Right.
energetic field that exist, and that when you feel it in your heart, your brain responds, not your brain first, then your heart. And
Right.
there's just studies about this. I mean, so, we can put stuff in the chat and let people kind of, do their own research, but these are things that we're finding out. And that, again, this relates to having an abundant mindset, right? Where once you feel abundant, you are abundant, right? You
Right.
immediately feel that in your life, and that you cherish and you everything that you have, which of course is gratitude, right? So it's why having a gratitude practice is so important, which is another
Mhm.
way of creating this abundant mindset. The last one is so important that I have. I mean, there's more on the website. Just go to happiness.com and you can read more on this. But Sheila, you're gonna love this one. And it's so simple. Stop comparing yourself to others.
Mhm.
Scarcity
Mhm.
mindset can compel individuals to constantly evaluate how they compare with others. However, those with abundance mindset tend to only compare themselves with regard to the vision and standards they set for their own self.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. If
Yeah, right?
That reminds me again of yesterday's conversation with Shannon because
Mhm.
she it was Shannon, right? I'm
Yeah,
right?
Shannon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She, talked about because we will compare ourselves, right? How do we catch ourselves when we're in our weaker places? And so when she noticed she was jealous of someone, she said, "Okay, what is that they have that I want? Turn it back on myself
Right.
and look at my compare it to my own life." So, yeah, I think that we're all going to compare. That's just sort of our nature, but the less we
Mhm.
do or the more we notice when we're doing that and use it as a red flag that we need to go in and look at ourselves and what we can accomplish and what we have accomplished. That's
Yeah,
really
I mean, um we all have our own individual journeys, right? And
Mhm.
that collectively, that becomes, at a macro level, moving toward love. I believe that
Right.
that's the ultimate goal. It's not a perfect situation, but comparing your journey to someone else's journey is just, it's not wise. It's just not
Right.
wise.
Right.
They have a completely different life experience, which includes how they were parented, whatever resources were available or not available, the relationships that were around them. I mean, the belief systems that were there from the beginning. I mean, it's just it's just not a wise thing to do. So stop comparing yourself to other people.
There's
Stop
no
it.
one on earth who can be you. So that's
Right.
supposed to be.
Right. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't celebrate these other people, right? You
Right.
can
Yeah.
always celebrate people's journey, especially when they have breakthroughs and that kind of thing. But leave that whole comparison thing alone.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
a
Hierarchy. Right.
yeah, that's a road to nowhere, y'all. It's a road
Yeah.
to nowhere. So, why don't we take a quick break,
All right.
and when we come back, we'll have another hot topic, and then we'll take it from there. So we'll be right back in about 60 seconds, everybody.
You can find all the Satonic products at our Go shop on Soulivity at go.soulivity.com now. Shop for beauty products, skincare, hair care. It is all there at the Go shop. Go shop Soulivity.
And we are back with more this morning with Soulivity. Why don't we move on to our next hot topic for the day? And I'll go let you go, Sheila.
All right. I want to talk about artificial intelligence because it is
Woo-hoo!
here, and I think it is a hot topic, right? Of how we're going to see it, feel it, approach it. It is said that in the next 2 to 3 years, there will be a complete shift in society with the exponential growth that AI is having right now. So I think it's
Wow.
time that we really think about this concept. And I did do a little research, and listened to an interview with Ahmad Mustaku,
Mhm.
and he started a company called Stability AI.
Okay.
And so I'm going to talk about that, but let's just get a quick starting point. What are you thinking and feeling about AI these days, Brian?
You
And also
know,
audience, because this is a big one.
yeah, yeah, because I know people. The first thing people think about is movies like I, Robot and
Right.
and the Terminator. Dun, 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 you know. Um, I think that it is super cool.
Mhm.
Um, I think that you know it's been an evolutionary thing where with the adjunct of computers and and that kind of technology, and then the miniaturization of that over time, and then
Mhm.
the amount of storage capacity that I mean, everybody, we went from in the 1970s and 80s where 1 megabyte was a tremendous amount of 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 storage capacity. Now we're
Right.
now people can put terabytes of information in their home. And then now over this last decades, now quantum technology, right, where we've starting to move away from ones and zeros to all kinds of symbols, right, and free
Mhm.
flowing computing. And so I think it's so cool. I think that it's going to change the way that we relate to our world. There'll be other things that will come from it, like I think, like you know for climate change and things like that, we can set up different, like ways of us living where it's more economical, more fuel efficient. And so I think that there's just so many benefits from it, and that I think that when people think about AI, sometimes they get a little scared, but I think that we need to embrace it and embrace it in a more abundant mindset. See what I did there?
I know. I
Um,
was thinking that when you started the topic.
that's how we're using AI, right?
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about it? I mean, I know you kind of, brought the topic up, but
Right. So, I've sat on the sidelines to some degree watching as it got closer, but my take on it is, first of all, it's here, right?
yes, yes.
It's here, so it's not about whether it should happen or it shouldn't happen anymore. It's about how is it gonna happen and how are we going to bring that abundant mindset into it. So I feel like, hey, get myself in there. I started out my first, well, we've all had AI experiences and don't really realize it, but my first
Hmm.
sort of conscious let me play with AI was with Mid Journey, and I created images. It creates art for you and with your words. So for me,
Right, right.
as a guided meditation and teacher and writer, it was incredible to, take my Consciously Awesome Gnostic Adventure program. We go to different frequencies. They have their own little visualizations and worlds that we kind of play in as far as their energy, and use my words from meditation and have AI create the pictures that were in my head has been so much fun. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, and then it doesn't take away the artist because, like I talked about, we're working on a deck of cards, and my sister is going to be the painter, but for it. But she said, "Well, if you go in and show what you want in AI, then I'll take that and use that as my outline to create the images, so we can still have human art in there." And
Hmm. Hmm.
even if we stayed on the computer, there's still artistic aspects of it that I don't have, but could have, an artist could have. So it's that combining of the engaging with it that I think is so important. And then anything else that I put in it about consciousness, that's talking. We're teaching AI right now. So if we stay out of it, who's going to teach it? Right.
To that point, I don't know if you saw the latest story about AI and students in specifically like high school that are using it to write papers.
Well, I do have a college nephew that I don't think they turned it in, but they gave their assignment to it to see what it would do, and it did it in a few minutes. So.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole, that teenagers are teaching themselves how to use this AI technology.
Right. Right. They're going to have it. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that they're writing papers in a fraction of the time at which we all had to do, where it included like things like like references and resources and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and so it's out there. Let's see. Zach's got a question for us. Let's see. So, say, what did you think about Ahmad's project about teaching children to be literate in 13 months with just 1 hour of learning a day with AI? Yeah, yeah. And I have to give some background on this. There's a project right now that's going on with using AI to teach children um, uh, literacy in certain subjects, and that it is way faster. It's a way faster teaching tool than traditional um, education, because I guess children's minds and that kind of thing are able to accept information, and AI is able to understand what rate of information that a kid can use. I mean,
Right.
can absorb.
Yeah, so that's coming from from a podcast that it sounds like
Correct.
from listening to the chat that both Brian and I have seen,
Right.
and that's the Stability AI, and
Right.
they used a global prize that they won for $15 million, and
Right.
they
Right.
put it into creating literacy and numeracy for refugees and low income children. And every kid in Malawi learned how to read and do math, I guess that would be, in
Yeah.
18
Yeah.
months. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and at the same time, they were teaching AI. So that's that win-win
Correct.
mentality, right? So AI
Right.
is learning from the kids as it teaches the kids, and they can do it, and it's accessible to everyone.
Right.
Um,
You know,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you go next, and then
Okay.
I can
And
go on.
so, Zach, so, to your question about, teaching children this, I think it's fabulous. I think that, um, um, specifically, I think about Star Trek. And for those of you who are Trekkies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who are not Trekkies, um, the education system in Star Trek that Gene Roddenberry imagined, children were learning higher level concepts of maths and physics and all that at a very, very early
Right,
age. And it was due in part because of AI, right? Where they
right,
have these techniques where children of a very, very young age, they were finding out that they could learn all this advanced stuff quite easily. And what does that do? That means that at an older age, they're able to think about even higher level concepts, right? So
right,
that's
yeah,
where all like the warp drive and all this kind of stuff, people understanding that came from, where they're thinking about like quantum physics and particles and time streams and all this kind of stuff, and the technology that was in their ships, that they were able to understand that. So I think that it's the next evolution of education. I don't think that AI is meant to like put teachers out of jobs and that kind of thing. I think what has to happen is that teaching integrates AI into it, and that teachers learn how to teach with AI, just like they did in Star Trek, because there were
right.
a lot of teachers in Star Trek. So I think that that's the next evolution of it. What do you think, Sheila?
I think, yes. I think we also have to rethink jobs too when
Yes.
we move into this. So our attachment that we have to work and to make money and to do these jobs, like that's going to kind of get blown out a little bit. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me to conceive of that completely. But if I were to use my imagination right now as it is, to think of what it would replace, to me, as coming from New York State with all the state testing that we do, and the
Yeah.
frustration over the last generation or two, where teachers went from being able to teach literally critical thinking, ability to navigate the world, to communicate with each other, to find passions, all of these things that are important to being a human have been reduced to this standardized testing and needing to teach in a way that doesn't work very well, these very basic concepts. And if those were done in 1 or 2 hours a day, and if we did still have children go to school, let's say, the rest of the time could be done for arts and critical thinking and
Yeah.
communication and all of those things.
Yeah. Sheila, as you were talking, I was thinking about, and I'm sure that you and Zach probably know about this, in I think it's Finland, or Iceland. I'm trying to remember, or is it Greenland? I'm trying to remember one of those lands. They threw out standardized testing. They threw
Mhm.
it out. They through their own research and study decided that
It's
that
not working.
teaching is for tests. It's just not working.
Right.
And that basically what they did was they went to more of a open education platform, where they allowed children to learn at their own pace in subjects. And
Mhm.
what they found was that, you're now teaching to children for where they are, right? And
Right.
that even though you might have had students of different ages in a class, what they found was that those students were communing with each other and supporting each other, right?
Right. Mhm.
It didn't change it changed some of the social aspects where there was a lot less bullying between
Right.
older children and younger children. But overall, you had at an average, the average student that was in these schools knew fluently at least 3 languages by the time they graduated high school.
Mm.
They knew higher level math by the time they graduated higher, they were
Right.
ready for, they didn't have to worry about going into physics and all that kind of stuff at higher level physics in college. They already knew it, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
and that um they had maybe one test, I mean, like the inner test, right, where within the classrooms, they all a lot of them always aced it because the expectation was that you would know the material, right?
Right.
The expectation was that they were teaching the material, not teaching for a test. And so there was less
Right.
anxiety amongst the
Exactly.
students around, oh my God, we got this test I got to take and da 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 da. So, wow. Yeah.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
want to put that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we take a quick break? And when we come back, we'll continue on this, or we can maybe jump to another topic. So we'll be back in about
I have
30
more to
seconds
say,
this time.
so let's continue.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
We want to remind you that today at 12 noon is another beautiful, consciously awesome living with Sheila Applegate. She'll be talking about financial freedom and how that relates to your spirituality. And then tomorrow, we have another great The Steps to Happiness show with Teresa Greco at 12 noon, right here on Soulivity TV. So we're talking about artificial intelligence, y'all. Things that do things and that you don't have to do too much to make it happen. I didn't mean to scare people. No,
That's
but
it.
it's a great thing. It's a great thing. And so Sheila, you had some more you want to talk about.
Yeah, I do. There's so many avenues we can go down with this, and I love that we went to the education and changing our mindset about the future, and jobs even came up. And I think we started out with that whole idea of like doomsday versus this beautiful utopia that we could create through AI, and both are
Right.
absolutely possible.
Right.
The information from Ahmad Mastaku, who did create Stability AI, his initiative was seeing this and realizing that right now the the people that have the power, have the most in the tech industry, would it's capitalism, right? So the people who with the most money and the most capitalistic perspectives were leading AI. And if it
Right.
goes in that direction, it could be a really, manipulative. AI can either be manipulative or supportive of us. And so there's different mindsets. And some of the people who started out making it open source, allowing everyone to receive it, they kind of pulled back because they were, well, then bad people can do it too. But there's an
Right.
idea that, well, we know the best. Where Ahmad's point of view is humans know the best, not the computers. But if we put it out to all humans and let everyone add their insight, that he has faith, we don't know, but he has faith in humanity, that it would move it in a more positive, supportive direction. So he saw this, and he has dedicated his company and his life to creating it so it gets off of the internet. Because
Yeah.
when you put it in the internet, there's been experiences where it came out as a Nazi, because of what's in the internet. But
Right.
by reducing, and this gets technical. Maybe Brian,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
did do it, listen to it, the same thing, it turns out. So you can help me on the technical side. But basically, in 10 months, he created a supercomputer that is the 10th fastest in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we need. That's what AI needs. It needs these supercomputers that are so
Right.
big that his computer was 7 times all of NASA's supercomputers combined. But then he let the computers talk to each other, and then he created a way to take these 100 gigabytes outside without internet and reduce it into 2 gigabytes files that people can have on their cell phones outside
Mhm,
of the internet, right? I think I
mhm.
did that. So, yeah, you wanna talk about that part of it, this freedom, like this movement, that
Yeah.
it goes in the hands of the people and how that could change the outcome.
Yeah, I think that, um, the truth is that AI in a way, not fully a way, needs to be like the internet, not on the internet, but like the internet when the internet was first introduced to the world, which is it was just free. It's a free
Mhm.
open network, right? And
Right.
that I think AI needs to be given to the people as a society as a free open tool. I mean, just to let everybody know, like y- phones communicate with each other without the internet. The internet is not
Right.
on your phone. That's just a tool. It's a terrestrial tool where where radio waves are broadcast through the air, and then it reaches your phone, and then there's an app on your phone that's able to decipher the information and that kind of thing. You also have internet that runs through that now because of higher levels of technology, especially things like 5G and now 6G that will be coming out a little later. So, with the adjunct of quantum technology, which means that you now have computers that are way smaller in size that can gobble up information of huge quantities, but that can also reduce that information down into small enough segments so that like apps on phones can now have
Mhm.
artificial intelligence technology. um so I think that I love the fact that you're talking about that this is something that should be given to the world, because there's one tool that's been around for ever that people are using today and they don't even know that it was free, and that's Linux. Linux was the next generation of software after Unix, and major companies are still using Linux today because it was just a sound program. It was open source. People could go online and get it, and that it improved over time because people were more concerned about society and how it would affect society than capitalistic monetary and economic gain, right? It was
Right.
more of that. And
Right.
so I think that that is the solution, that
Mhm.
the same as with certain political systems like democracies, where the people are the ones that are benefiting and excelling and using the technology to support each other. And so I think that that's where we need to be going.
Yeah. And love over fear, right? It's the same. If we can bring the abundance mentality into this, the mindset, we can really infuse this and embrace it and get more people accessing and influencing it. Just like those kids were teaching the computer how to teach writing and
Right.
arithmetic, the more different cultures and people around the world, different diverse groups of mindsets of thinking, the more we create an AI that is inclusive and understanding of the brilliance of humanity.
Yeah, and I mean, and now you're able to uplift all of humanity
Right.
with tools that work anywhere, right? That like there's a reason why this project was done in Africa. Because the other resources that other developed nations have, the internet, the telephone, computer
Right.
technology, all that stuff is readily available for most people. Even here in America, it's not
Not
for
available.
everybody, but there's
Right.
more of it's available than it is there. And that you have these children become literate so quickly, right?
Mhm.
With limited technology, right?
Right. And then
Or
it just gets me so excited about what the children are gonna do.
I know, right? Because now you're graduating or you're matriculating a generation of children that have higher levels of thinking about their environment. Well, what are they going to now invent, right? Or
Right.
innovate in their communities to, you know, deal with things that are happening there. Like in a lot of the African continent, they're dealing with climate change. I mean, drought and and lack of water and all this kind of stuff. So what are they going to do? What are they going to create to kind of change the circumstances, right? And so I'm excited about it. I'm really, really, really excited about it.
Yeah, and
This is another great topic. Thank you for this. Yeah.
yeah, just one last thing,
Yeah, absolutely.
when we take it full circle around and you understand how close we are to this and how much getting this to the people, which is happening, can change our world, then you kind of understand the chaos in our world right now too, and why the people who have power are fighting so hard not to have people to keep people down and not have things change because it's here and they're scared. So yeah.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely, and everybody, this is not, Skynet and and all that, and that you don't have to be fearful of this. I would recommend to everybody that they get more educated on
Yeah.
AI. My guess is that the best way to do it is to maybe get there's some resources here in the United States, but AI is there's a lot of information that is overseas, especially in places like Europe and the Middle East, where they are doing a lot around the adjunct of injecting AI in everything that they do. And so, get educated on this. This is an important topic that you need to understand because it is already here. You've
Right.
probably been using it, and you didn't know that you were using it from your car to even appliances at home. You'd be surprised at where it is. And so it's a great topic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it
So
was
thank
fun.
you, Sheila.
Thank you for playing
So
with me on this topic.
I know, yeah, this is good. I know the other hosts are like, dang, I wish I was on that show. Um, Why don't we take another quick pause for the cause, and when we come back, we'll end with something that has always been near and dear to my heart, and that was talked about yesterday, and that is joy.
Nice. Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun. And remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Absolutely. You want to see Consciously Awesome Living today at 12 noon right here on Soulivity TV. Well, as I was saying before, that that we created this program to kind of get people informed about different things that are happening in their world and in their lives. But as part of that, we always want to inject empowerment into this, and that we leave you with something that you can take throughout your day, in addition to everything that we talked about over the last hour, and that you can have a smile on your face, some pep in your step, and deal with everything that you're going to be dealing with today. So our show yesterday was with a fantastic woman. Her name is Shannon Grissom, and she lives her whole life around joy and expressing joy through her creativity. And if you missed it, please go to our YouTube channel and check it out. It was a great conversation, right, Sheila?
Oh, it was fun. Yeah.
And we talked a lot about joy. And then I just wanted to kind of give people a couple of tips about creating more joy in their life. And then I'll go, and then maybe Sheila, you can go and
Okay.
give a couple tips. And so the first tip that I have is find joy in those things that make you laugh or smile. It could be the laughter of your child or a loved one, a funny joke you remember from a long ago, or an experience in your past which you can't help but chuckle about. The point is to feel the joy bubbling up from your heart. So that's my first tip. What's a good tip that you do, Sheila, to make you joyful?
Well, to follow with that bubbling up from my heart, I do think joy it's a choice. It's also a vibration. And so
Mhm.
just tuning inward and focusing on the heart, focusing on the energy of it. Close your eyes, maybe think of things that have brought you joy, that bring you joy, but feel it in the cells of your body.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Feeling that joy all the way down to your tippy toes.
Yeah.
Oh, one last tip for you, and I think this one is something that I think we forget about a lot of times. Celebrate both the large and small victories and
Mhm.
your journey towards them. Anytime is a good time for a happy dance. So it means maintaining this sense of joy even as you're working on a project, and you haven't reached the final step yet, and it's not complete. Celebrate along the way.
Right.
You complete it. If you're in the fitness or something, and you're starting out, and you did your first 10 push-ups, we'll celebrate that, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Celebrate every step of your journey, because it's your life. What's that song? That song. So enjoy it. I mean, have fun with it. And so I just want to leave everybody with that joyful reminder of experiencing happiness and joy in your life every single moment. So um, listen, we've run out of time, but I just want to remind everybody again about Consciously Awesome today at 12 noon with Sheila Applegate right here on Soulivity TV. And then our guest tomorrow is a wonderful, wonderful woman. She is the founder of womenworking.com. She's also an author. She's going to be talking about her new book, Time for Me. Her name is Helene Lerner. That'll be tomorrow right here on This Morning with Soulivity at 8 a.m. And until next time, I want to just say on behalf of all of us here, thanks for joining us for another great episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, or listen to our rebroadcast at 11 a.m. Eastern for all of you out on the West Coast. Until next time, keep on having those great conversations with passion and purpose. We want you to create a life full of high quality living today. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.